So we push on east, red corrugations humming under the tyres, the desert stretching out in every direction. Not far out of Docker River, we come across a place that sits right on the edge of Australian folklore, Lasseter's Cave. Now, Harold Lasseter's story has well and truly passed into Aussie's legend. Back in the late 1930s, when Harold Bell Lasseter disappeared into this country, it could have been the quiet end to a mystery. But decades earlier, he'd staggered out of the desert almost dead, pockets full of gold, claiming he'd found a 15-kilometre gold reef somewhere out here in central Australia. That claim alone would have been enough to raise eyebrows, but then Lasseter went back with a surveyor into some of the most isolated and unforgiving ranges in the country. The mystery only grew from there until it became so big it triggered the largest inland expedition since Burke and Wills. While travelling through here, I'd been reading Lasseter's Gold by Warren Brown. It's a cracking read, full of drama, clashing personalities, brutal heat, impossible terrain. There's even a plane crash and a pistol-carrying dingo skinner who just appears out of nowhere. And then there's Lasseter himself. He was a former sailor, a bigamist, a man who claimed John Bradfield stole his plans for a single-span bridge across Sydney Harbour. So, was he a visionary or one of the greatest liars that Australia has ever produced? Is Lasseter's Reef just a myth, or is there really a massive gold reef still sitting out here waiting to be found? Lasseter spent weeks sheltering in this very cave. His final attempt to reach safety failed, and his body was eventually found out in the desert. Eventually, we hit the bitumen again, and almost on cue, a couple of massive bull camels wander past. It's just Central Australia doing what it does best. And then suddenly, the monoliths of Kata Tjuta rise out of the earth to greet us. Kata Tjuta is the traditional Aboriginal name for the formation. It translates to many heads. You might also know it as the Olgas, named after Mount Olga, the tallest peak, by explorer Ernest Giles in 1872 at the suggestion of Baron Ferdinand von Müller in honour of Queen Olga of Württemberg. In 1993, a dual naming policy was adopted and Mount Olga officially became Kata Tjuta Mount Olga. This place is rich with Dreamtime stories, many of them centred around Wanambi, the great snake king said to live on the summit of Kata Tjuta. It is believed he only comes down during the dry season, and that his breath can turn a gentle breeze into a hurricane, punishment for those who do wrong. Much of the knowledge tied to this place isn't shared with outsiders, and rightly so. The rocks themselves are believed to hold powerful spirit energy from the dreaming, and today the site is once again used for cultural ceremonies. From here, we moved on towards Yalara and Uluru. The weather had turned, rain was forecast, and after crossing the desert we decided to spend a day cleaning up and resetting. What we didn't realise was the spectacle that we were missing. Waterfalls cascading down the sides of Uluru after the rain. Uluru needs no introduction. It's one of those places that stops you in your tracks. The colours come from a variety of materials. Some stained from clay. They were very valuable and traded across the children about this place and painting on the rock. Today these stories are still kept and handed down to the children. Paddy Uluru remembers painting here as a young boy around 1930s. Some of us can be sceptical when we hear a place described as sacred, but not here. Once you understand the reasons behind the closed climb and the photography restrictions, it just makes sense. If you haven't been to Uluru, I'd strongly recommend it. But leave your gung-ho, conquer the world attitude behind, because you don't need to conquer this place. You just need to experience it.
Yeah, feedback.